Okay, so hi everybody. We'll get started just like we usually do in an easy cross-legged position. A prop, I just was explaining, a rolled up yoga towel can make a great yoga prop. If you have yoga blocks, please feel free to use them. But we're going to just start sitting just in a comfortable position. So easy cross-legged can be a good one. You can always have the legs out in front or scissored to the side. And just take a few moments to center yourself, rest the arms somewhere gently on the legs. Allow the shoulders to relax. We often unconsciously hold tension there. And maybe close the eyes just so you can take your awareness a little bit more inside rather than letting the outside be a distraction. And begin to focus on your breathing now, just feeling the rise and fall of the body with the breath. But we're not going to control anything for a few moments. This is just a chance to tune in because quite often, for most of the day, we don't notice our breathing. And we can actually start to breathe maybe high up in the chest and the ribs. And we do a reverse breathing. So what we're going to focus on for a few moments is that deep diaphragmatic breathing where we really notice the expansion of the body with the inhale. You can even place one hand on the lower abdomen around your tummy button. And as you inhale, feel the belly rise into the hand. And as you exhale, feel it fall back towards the spine. Repeat that a few more times now, purposely trying to really notice and expand the body with the inhale and relax with the exhale. I'll let you go at your own pace for a couple more rounds of that deep belly breathing. And this is something we can come back to at any time through the day when we might notice we're getting a little distracted or a little hurried. We can come back to a simple diaphragmatic breathing practice. One more round. And exhale fully. At the end of that round, place the hands back onto the legs or on the knees. And just do a quick body scan. And hopefully you'll notice that you're just already feeling a little quieter, a little calmer, a little bit more grounded. Feel the weight of the body sitting wherever you are. Feel the hands resting on the legs. And then drop the chin in towards the chest. So you feel a gentle stretch down the back of the neck. And open the eyes if you had them closed. From here, lift the chin back up to center and slowly take the right ear towards the right shoulder, just so you feel a gentle stretch through the opposite side of the neck, maybe even into the shoulder. Take a nice big breath in. And as you exhale, slowly come back to center. Take a round of breathing. And then the next exhale, take the left ear towards the left shoulder, noticing a stretch on the other side of the neck. Take a round of breathing here. And exhale, come back to center, lift the chin, slowly just look up until you feel a gentle opening through the front of the throat, and then bring the chin back to center. From here, do some shoulder rolls, lifting the shoulders up and around, taking them backwards for a few rounds, just kind of warming them up. And then bring the shoulders forwards in a few circles, hugging them forward, so up and around. And again, we don't have to make these big short circles, we're just warming up the shoulders. Good, and then kind of wiggle the shoulders from side to side. And we're just going to come around to cat-cow, coming back to a sequence that I'm sure feel very familiar now. And it's good to have a few poses that you do on a regular as part of your regular practice. So they're kind of like a check-in pose. So take a couple of breaths just here as the arms are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. And with the next inhale, look forward. And with the exhale, round the back like a cat. Good. Dropping the head just between the arms, letting the space between the shoulder blades open up. And inhale, look forward, feeling the spine move in the opposite direction. And just move with your own breath now, 3 or 4 more rounds of cat-cow, just a gentle spinal warm-up. So again, we're not going to kind of really overly stretch or force anything here. Just move with the natural curves of the spine and coordinate that movement with your breath. So exhaling into cat, inhaling to cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. One more round. And when you're ready, let's just meet back in the tabletop. So because we're going to work on some hip openers, we're just going to warm up those hips a little. So bring the knees closer together, lift the right leg up off the floor and do some circles with that right knee down and around. Now the key here is to isolate the movement in the right hip. Try not to kind of wiggle around from side to side. So try to imagine you've got a tray of drinks on your back and you're trying not to spill a drop. So you might actually notice your core is activating here. And then take the circle in the opposite direction. So lifting up and over, really trying to isolate the movement into the hip. Good, and then bring that knee down and switch sides. We're going to switch over to the left leg, knee around in a circle. And again, try to keep the rest of the body really still so you're isolating the movement into that left hip. And then change direction of the circle, lifting the knee up and around. Good. Just encouraging some gentle mobility into this area, some blood flow, warming up the hip, and then bring that foot all the way down. Slide back to come to kneeling for a moment, shake out the wrists, maybe pump the fingers up and down a couple of times, just let go of the pressure. And then let's just do a little foot stretch. This is always a good one to include. We're going to tuck those toes under, make sure the toes are facing forward. And you can support the body weight here. And as you get used to the sensation in the foot, come back to kneeling and just pause here for a moment. Take a nice big inhale and a full exhale. Good. Come forward onto the hands, shake out the feet a few times from side to side, and then pitter-patter the top of the feet on the floor. Good. From here, we're just going to warm up the glutes a little bit. So we're going to kick the right foot up into the air and try to keep the shoulders and hips level. And then using the glute, kick the heels straight up to the ceiling, but see if you can activate the movement, not from the quad, but from the glutes and the hamstring. So just a few times. Good. Hopefully feeling everything switching on there. And it doesn't have to be a big movement to be helpful. There we go. Bring that foot down, switch over to the second side. I've got my toe flexed, but if you want to point your toe, that's fine. Try again to have those hips level. You can switch on the core a little bit to help you stabilize. And then using the glute, try to kick the heel up towards the ceiling. I'm doing about 6 or 7 times. But as long as we feel some activation in the back of the leg rather than the quad. Good. Bring that knee down. And let's come into child's pose. Take the knees wide, toes together underneath you, and stretch the arms out along the floor. Take a nice big breath here, in, and a full exhale out, and sink a little closer down into the mat. Now we're just going to roll over slightly to the left. So we're kind of compressing that left hip a little closer to the ground, and then slowly roll over to the right. And you can let your arms roll too, but we're just trying to place a little more weight over the right hip now. Switch sides, back to the left. And then slowly back to the right. Good. Come all the way back up to center. Let's come up to our tabletop. Move the prop just so you've got plenty of space on the mat. And we're going to make our way to downward dog. So stretch the arms out, fingers wide across the floor, tuck the toes, and then lift the hips up and back away from the hands. And keep the knees a little bent just for this first downward dog, and begin to pedal the feet, gently bending one knee and then the opposite knee as the opposite ankle gently reaches towards the ground. Don't worry about the ankle reaching the floor. the key is really to feel the pelvis slightly tilting forward so that we get this really great V shape. We don't want kind of like a rounding in the back. You want to think of the pelvis dripping forward and you pressing the hands actively into the floor and almost pushing the hands away. So you're really trying to make this long, flat ski slope with the back. Good. Now from here, we're going to slowly walk the feet up towards the hands, coming into a forward fold at the top of the mat. And again, keep a little bend in the knees here just to protect the hamstrings and just hang over the legs for a moment. You can even sway from side to side. And then begin to roll up to standing, uncurling the vertebrae one at a time, coming all the way up. And when you reach the top, sweep the arms up overhead and take a full body stretch. And as you exhale, bring the hands to your heart center in a prayer position and take a nice big breath in and a full exhale. Okay, let's do a little sun salutation just for a warm up. So we're going to sweep the arms up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, fold from the hips, dive forward into a forward bend. Rise up from here into your halfway lift, nice flat back. And you can almost begin to think of the legs as straightening, but use the quad and the hamstring to lift the knees up and back. Keep that engagement and then fold from the hips, taking the tummy towards the thighs and then let the hands drop down. Now bend the knees so you can place the hands firmly on the ground and step the right foot back into a long lunge. From here, just slowly move forward and back a couple of times. Just helps to warm up the right back foot and the left hip. And then slide the left foot back and come to plank pose. From here, drop the knees, bend the elbows straight back, tucked into the sides of the body as you lower yourself to the floor. And then roll up into a mini cobra. So peeling the front part of the body up off the mat. Imagine someone pulling your feet out to get length in the back of the body too. A little bit of core and back activation here. Lift the hands off the mat and see if you can hold yourself up and then place yourself down onto the ground. Lift up and back, come to a short child's pose just to counteract the back bend and then lift up and back into downward dog. Again, feet are hip width apart, hands are about shoulder width apart, fingers reached out across the mat, pressing actively into the floor. Let's look forward and step the right foot up between the hands and pivot forward and back again here. Just warming up the right hip and the back left foot. And then step the left foot up to the top of the mat. Inhale, rise up to halfway. And exhale, fold in towards the legs and sweep the arms up overhead this time as you come to standing. Big stretch. Exhale, drop the hands to heart center. Inhale. Full exhale. Let's sweep the arms up overhead. Big inhale here. Exhale, fold forward, down, taking the hands towards the feet. Inhale, rise up, halfway lift. Nice L shape here with the body. Exhale, fold in towards the legs. Bend the knees, place the hands on the floor, step the left foot back into the lunge. Let's take a little twist. Beginning that rotation at the waist, keep this right hip glued to where it is and reach the right arm up towards the sky. Keep the left back leg nice and strong and active. And then exhale, bring the right hand down, step back to plank. Engage the core, drop the knees, keep the same level of core engagement as you bend the elbows and lower yourself to the ground. Stretch out the legs behind you, come up onto your forearms for Sphinx pose, slightly deeper back bend, but actively push the floor away here. Even feel the underside of the body pressing into the mat as you sweep the heart center up to look forward, almost like a headlight beaming forward. Good. Slide the hands down under the shoulders, lift yourself up and back, short child's pose here. And then lift yourself into downward dog, pedaling out the feet when you reach downward dog. You can even roll the top of the feet over, giving them a little massage. And then look forward and step the left foot up between the hands. And let's take our twist on this side, dropping the right hand to the mat, right shoulder. Keep the left hip where it is and lift the left arm up towards the sky. Keep the right leg active, so squeeze the quad. Keep the knee up off the ground. Big inhale. Exhale, bring the hand down. Step the right foot up, come into your forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward and sweep the arms up overhead as you come to standing. Big stretch up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a round of breathing, inhaling and exhaling. And then release the hands. Give the legs and hands a good shake out. And let's do one standing hip opener. And you might not think of tree pose as a hip opener, but that's what we're going to focus on today. There's lots of different things we can focus on for tree pose. So the key is to think of this. So I'm going to start with my right hip, turn the knee out to the side, and really focus on that action being in the hip. And then the foot, we're not going to worry too much about our balance today. So if you want to keep the foot a little lower or just on the calf, that's fine, because I want you to think of actively engaging the leg to keep the hip open and the hips parallel here. Bring the hands to heart center. Stand up nice and tall. Feel a little bit of core engagement here. And if you want to, reach the arms up overhead, stretch the fingers wide, and let's hold. 5, 4, don't forget to breathe. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring the hands down. Slowly bring that knee in. And lower the right foot to the floor. Give a little shake out. And let's try the second side. So again, really, as you take this knee out to the side, think of it into the left hip. Rather than the left knee kind of pulling, think of the action isolated in that left hip. And again, now the foot can come to the kickstand or to the calf. Stand up nice and tall, core activated. Bring your hands to heart center. Find your balance. Really think of your foot as the roots, the leg as your trunk, the core as your trunk, and then take the arms up overhead like your branches. And let's hold. Breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Slowly bring the hands down. Release that left foot and have a little shake out. Now, another hip opener that's great for building strength and flexibility at the same time is Warrior 2. So we're going to take our feet really wide across the mat and turn the left foot out so the toes are pointing forward. The back right foot's at about 45 degrees. So to keep these hips nice and open, we need to have strong legs. So push the feet into the floor and squeeze this knee quad so the left knee stays over the ankle. Sometimes it starts to drift in and this hip closes. So we want to think of this hip opening action. And then sometimes what happens is the shoulders begin to lean forward. We want to think of the shoulders as stacked over the hips, and then the arms are parallel with the floor. Try to relax the shoulders, press those feet. So we're kind of making this Warrior 2 more about the hips and the legs today. Look out over your front arm. And then just hold and breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Now stay where you are, and we're going to do eagle arms. So we're going to bring this left arm underneath the right. The hands can come to cross at the elbows, or you can interlace the palms. Can't see me. And we're just going to press those arms together and then lift and lower the elbows 3 times. Just giving the shoulders a little bit of a stretch out too. But notice how we want to keep those legs strong and active. And then release the arms, stretch them back out one more time, and then lower them down. Take the bend out of that front knee, turn the foot around. We'll switch to the second side. So again, really focusing on our hips and our legs here. Keep this quad active. The knee is right over the ankle. And you may need to rearrange your feet a little. The heels should be in a long line, but it depends really on your hips. Some people might prefer to have the front heel in line with the back arch. It depends on how tight or how open your hips are. So find that position where this front right knee isn't going to collapse in. And notice how if it does, this other hip will move and rotate. So try to find the best position where our hips are nice and open, level, and our shoulders are over our hips. Press those feet actively into the floor. Keep the legs exactly where they are now. Lift the arms up so they're parallel with the floor. Look out over the front arm, but keep the shoulders a little relaxed. The legs are strong and working. Let's hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. This time, bring the right arm underneath the left, coming into eagle arms. The back of the hands can touch or the palms can interweave. And let's slowly lower and lift the elbows 3 times. Keeping those legs just strong, stable. Good. And then release the arms. Come back to warrior 2 one more time. And then lower the arms, turn the feet in. And then we're just going to heel toe a little bit further in, not all the way. Now we're going to come to a goddess pose. There's kind of different names for this one, but it's a great hip opener. So the toes are at about 45 degrees. And again, we want to try to keep our weight back and in our heels here, as if we're half sitting down into this kind of goddess stance. And then the hands come out, but this time we're pressing an imaginary wall away. So it's almost like you're a superhero stuck in one of those scenarios where the walls are collapsing in. And you've got to actively push the walls away and push those feet into the floor. So probably feeling this good opening in the hips. Breathe deeply. Let's hold. Good job. 3, 2. So if you sink a little lower, 1, and come up. Good job. Walk those feet in, heel toe, all the way back to center and have a little shake out. Now we're going to come down to the floor, and this is where we're going to need our prop. And we're going to come into a little pigeon flow sequence. It can help to have the prop just at the top of the mat. And to begin with, we're going to come into downward dog so that we can transition into our pigeon stretch from there. So stepping the feet back, come to tabletop, stretch the arms out along the mat, and make your way up to downward dog. From here, just pedal out the feet one more time. And then step the feet close together. We're going to lift the right leg up, point it out behind us, bend the knee and draw it in. And as you draw it between the legs, place the right knee near the right hand. The shin can be wherever it's comfortable. We don't want too much twist in the knee. And if that doesn't feel good for your knee, you can flip over onto your back and come into a figure 4 stretch. Here's where the prop's going to come in handy. I'm going to slide it underneath my right hip so that my hips can settle squarely onto the floor. My back foot is going to be relaxed on the ground, and then I'm going to press into my fingertips. So my shin is just underneath my body here. If you're very comfortable in pigeon pose and you'd like to bring your shin up closer to parallel with the front of the mat, that's okay. But for most runners and active people, being a little cautious here and coming into a gentle version of this is going to still give you the nice stretch for the hip. So actively lift the heart center, press into the floor, and feel a nice opening through the front of the body, maybe getting into the left hip flexor. Good, big inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to lengthen the crown of the head forward. So we're trying to lengthen the spine out over that thigh, bring the hands forward and rest on our forearms. Now, there are a couple of options. You can stay here. If anybody would like to rest the head on the floor, you can also do that, turning the face to the right. And in a yin yoga class, you may hold a pose like this for 3 or more minutes, but we're not going to do that today. We're just going to take a round of about 5 breaths. But see if you can lengthen and slow the breath down here. You may like to close your eyes. It can be a quite deep meditative pose. Make sure we're feeling fully supported by the prop. You can relax the shoulders. Deep here, you can relax the jaw, the face, and soften a little bit. Okay, let's take one more inhale. And as you exhale, begin to slowly lift the head up and come into one more stretch up on the fingertips. Good. Then we're going to slide over onto our left, roll onto your left a little bit so you can slide the prop back to the top of the mat. And then slide that right leg back. Stretch back into a child's pose just to kind of quickly scan and notice probably a nice warm sensation, different feel between the right and the left hips. And then lift back to downward dog, tucking the toes, lifting back, pedaling out the feet. And then bring the feet a little closer together and lift the left leg up into a downward dog split. Bend the knee and then slide the left knee towards the left hand and place the shin down on the floor. Get the prop and you're going to slide it underneath that left hip, and that could be a yoga block or a towel or rolled up blanket. Reach the right foot, let it relax on the floor, and make sure you feel equally supported. When you're ready, we're then going to lengthen out the front of the body by pressing the hands and lifting up. So I'm kind of feeling this stretch in front of my right hip flexor, but it's also getting into all the connective tissue around the front of the hip. And then we're going to slowly lower down. So exhale and lengthen the crown of the head towards the front of your mat as you do this to try to keep the spine nice and long. And then you can relax onto the forearms and hold here. Or if you like, you can lower down and turn the face to the left. And again, begin this process of slowing down and relaxing the shoulders, relax the face and the jaw here. We're sinking down onto that left hip. I'm going to hold just for a few more rounds of breathing. Try to lengthen the exhale. Good. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, lift up slowly, pressing the hands into the mat to lift the front part of the body up. Then we're going to roll over onto our right so we can slide the prop out and keep it handy because we're going to roll over and then swing the legs out in front of us. We're going to scoot forward on the mat so you've got plenty of space to roll down, coming onto your back. And then we're going to hug the knees into the chest just so we can take a gentle massage here by rocking from side to side. Or you can even place two hands on the knees. Keep the knees together and then do some small circles so you can massage the back of the pelvis gently from side to side. You can do some circles in both directions. And then we can let the knees drop out and do those wide, big circles with the knees, hands on one knee or hands on each knee and going around in these butterfly circles a few times in each direction. And then we're just going to stretch the legs out, hug the right knee into the chest. And we'll just do a short spinal twist for the end of today's class, hugging that right knee in and then guide it over to the left. Stretching the right arm out along the floor. Keep the left leg active today, pressing the leg against the floor and keeping the toe flexed as if you were walking on the ground. Nice big stretch here. Big inhale. Full exhale. Try to let the right shoulder drop towards the ground as the right knee goes over to the left. And then slowly roll back to center. Hug that right knee in and switch sides, stretching the right leg away as you hug the left knee in. Give the left knee a squeeze in towards the chest. And then take the right hand and guide the knee over to the right as you stretch the left arm out along the floor. And turn the face to look at the left arm. Nice spinal twist to the other side. And keep that right leg active. So we want to flex the foot as if you're standing on the floor and keep the muscles a little switched on. Helps to stabilize the hips. Big breath in. Full exhale. One more inhale, and then slowly roll back to the center. Hug both knees in now and draw yourself up into the tiny ball. So you're going to wrap the arms tightly around the shins, lift the forehead towards the knees, maybe even rock a little bit from side to side, squeeze, 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 and then exhale and release everything down to the floor. And today for Shavasana, if you'd like to, you could slide your rolled up towel or put your cushion behind the back of the knees so you've got a little bit of support for the back of the legs. The feet can fall out to the side. Make sure the shoulders feel flat against the floor and let the back of the hands rest on the ground so the palms face up. The fingers may gently curl. And closing the eyes, begin to do a body scan from the crown of the head down through the body, feeling the ground supporting you, letting gravity really help you out here. We don't have to hold ourselves up. We can let the muscles relax. They don't have any work to do. So try to let this softening spread through the body. Often we're working and holding tension in our shoulders. Try to let that go. Our back, try to let that go. Our legs, our hips, let them feel heavy, supported by the ground. The hardworking legs and the feet. Try to actively let that go and melt into the ground. And just rest here for a few more rounds of breath. If the mind starts to wander, let go of the thoughts too and just come back to the inhale and the exhale. The simple movement of the breath. Let it be your guide to the present moment. And you're more than welcome to stay in Shavasana. But for those of us who are ready, I'm going to take a nice big inhale. And let's bring some movement back to the body by wiggling the fingers and toes. And then take a nice big inhale and reach the arms out overhead. Take a full body stretch. Flex and point the feet. Do some circles with the hands. And then walk the feet in so you can bend the knees. Bring the hands down and roll over onto your right hand side. From here, slowly make your way up, coming up to an easy cross-legged position. Just so we can come together for the end of this practice today. Let's bring our hands into our heart center in a prayer position. And I'd like to thank you all for coming. Thank yourself for taking this time, this important time to just be a little bit more present. And I hope you can carry this off the mat into the world. And I wish you a wonderful day.